Hey, this is Johnny Duke with Keller Williams Real Estate, Georgetown, Texas.
And I'm Tom Hallock with Bank of Texas Mortgage in Austin, Texas.
Awesome.
Yeah. So we're going to talk a little bit about some of the pitfalls or things that you see come up in lending most commonly.
You mean on the buying side?
On the buy side, right. On the buy side.
Hey guys, I'm kind of smart. I like you all know that. So literally, truly what we come across when we meet people who are looking to buy a home, doesn't matter if you're 18 or 55. They don't talk to lenders, but sometimes maybe once every 10 years, right? Or 7 years, depends.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes people think they're experts. And our job is very, very educational, meaning that half the time, really what I do is I kind of coach people or teach people what it's going to take to truly buy a home. And a lot of people just don't even know where to start. That's what I come across.
Yeah, and I think you bring up a good point, which is that the market is constantly changing. There's always changes in lending, as there are always changes in the market.
Yep.
And so it's important to know what's going on currently, and the best way to do that is to talk with someone who's in the industry, such as us.
Absolutely. So one of our challenges is, and it's really, we've gotten very proficient with this, is let's get a lender involved right now. And half the times the clients have a lender, and then half the times they don't even know where to start. And I'm like, all right, well, we've got some names for you, and that's where you get involved.
Yeah, and upfront is always the way to do it, because you want to make sure that you're shopping in the right range, because there's nothing worse than shopping for a home that's at a certain level and finding out that you can only afford one below that. So that's really important to get there upfront before the search is too deep.
I think one of the other challenges, Thomas, is people think their credit's worse than it is, and they're on the cusp, and they're either not wanting to address it or they want to address it and they don't know how, and they don't know what questions is to ask. Maybe it's they're embarrassed, or they just don't know. So that's one of the other challenges that we come across.
Yeah, and that's something that there are a lot of tools that can be used to increase the credit score, or just see what can be done to either raise it, or maybe if they're already at the point and they just didn't realize that they were. Just letting them know. I mean, information is power, and so it's really important to get that information as soon as possible, so that you know what you have and what you can look for.
Cool. Hey, I got one more. This is a big one. A lot of people are like, hey, my credit score is like 620. What's the minimum credit score needed to buy a home?
Generally, for most programs, it's going to be 620. There are certain cases where it can go below that, but it would depend on the specific situation. So if you're unsure where your credit score is, or if you think you're close to one of those cutoffs, the best thing to do is just check with the lender to see.
Okay, so let's say someone's like 10 points low.
Mm-hmm.
Realistically, they want to buy a house in 60 days. Is that realistic with credit repair?
It is possible with credit repair. It depends on the specific situation, but we do have certain tools such as a rapid rescore. There are credit agencies that can spur quick action as well. But it all depends on the specific situation, and the only way to find that out is to talk with the lender and get your credit pulled and look at it. A lot of people fall into the trap of seeing their credit score on a different site, on a third-party site, such as their bank website or on Credit Karma. Those scores won't always be what your mortgage credit score is going to be, so it's really important to speak with a mortgage professional to get your actual mortgage credit score.
Okay, cool. Hey, the other thing is how easy is it for people? Because I think they're thinking, I don't have time for this.
Yeah, it's actually really easy. I mean, the first step in the lending process is getting an application together. Most of the time that can be completed within 30 minutes, sometimes less depending on how complex the profile is. But then, the lending process will eventually have documentation to back it up. But the first step in it, the thing to get the whole ball rolling, should only take about 20 to 30 minutes.
Oh, awesome. And one more thing that I come across is people are afraid if they check with you and their credit is run, that it's going to just destroy their credit. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, so credit inquiries do factor into the credit score. They're a very small percentage. It's usually just 5% of the credit score. However, if you're getting multiple mortgage inquiries within about a 30-day window, it only counts against your credit once. So even if you already had it pulled by one person, you want to check around, that's totally fine. That's not going to hurt your credit more as long as it's within a small window. And credit inquiries are temporary, so it's not like missing a payment. Missing a payment will show up on your credit for a longer period of time. Credit inquiries are only going to be on your credit report for 6 to 12 months. And again, they're a really small percentage of what your credit score is.
Awesome. I can't think of any other challenges that we come across, really. It's just how to engage, when to engage, and why.
Yeah, communication is always key, especially between us, and so it's important to get both the realtor and the lender linked up as early in the process as possible to make sure that buyers are looking in the right range.
Awesome. Well, I can say this, I used Thomas on my personal loan, and there was a lot of factors that went into that, but it was awesome. Thanks, Thomas.
Thanks, appreciate that.